I look like an 80s drag queen nightmare. Hello users of the internet and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're one of my current 690 subscribers, then welcome back. And if you're not, I don't blame you. Today I've decided to dress as an aspect of like every character I can in Heathers. For honestly literally no practical reason whatsoever, I'm just insane. But in this video I will be discussing the 2018 television reboot of the iconic Daniel Waters' 1988 bop, Heathers. It is a cult classic starring Winona Ryder, Christian Slater, everybody's favorites. And now that this iconic story is being turned into a TV show, people are not happy about it. There are literally hundreds of videos on YouTube of everyone saying that the Heathers reboot sucks.
Everything is pretty awful.
And that it shouldn't have been made.
And how offensively bad it is.
And that it's the worst piece of trash to ever grace their television screen.
I want to cry.
And you know, everyone's negative opinions are valid, but I am just gonna swoop in and put my opinion in the mix. I really don't get all the hate and negativity because I, personally, liked it. I've watched all 10 episodes so I can really make an informed opinion, and after watching all of it, I like what they've done with it. And it's not like I'm some random who's not familiar with the original story who's come in and been like, oh my god, JD and Veronica, I love these new characters. I watched the movie when I was younger, loved it, watched the musical, was a massive stan. I dressed as Veronica Sawyer in 2014 for Halloween, and everyone was like, Annabelle, we don't know who you are because that movie was made in 1988 and you're 15 years old, get over yourself. Stop trying to be artsy and weird. But despite my love for the movie and musical, I still managed to really enjoy the TV show, and here's why. The main criticism is that minorities and members of the LGBTQIA+ community are being portrayed as villains, whereas white privileged people are being portrayed as victims.
All the Heathers are LGBT, but they made them all bullies.
Honestly, I think this is wrong for a number of reasons. Number one, I think making the three Heathers people who in 1988 would have been bullied is an interesting choice, and is just supposed to show how societal values have changed. And when the show shows the Heathers walking around the cafeteria and viciously standing up for LGBTQIA+ rights and racial rights, I don't think it's supposed to point out that the values that they have that they're shoving down people's throats are wrong. I think it's just playfully poking fun at the fact that everyone in 2018 is very, very sensitive towards these issues and very ready to fight for what they believe in, which in society today is obviously a good thing, but you know, is occasionally taken too far. All it's asking you to do is take a mini inward reflection at how you react to things in a way that I don't think is supposed to be taken too seriously. And everyone's negative reactions and sensitivity towards this choice are literally proving the point that they're trying to make.
Ironic, Heather.
This concept is also not brand new to the Heathers brand. The original film was literally a critique of society.
What was the first day after Heather's suicide like?
And this is similarly a critique of society in a modern context.
He was only paralyzed from the waist down.
So to say that what Daniel Waters was doing in 1988 was okay, but that what these people are deciding to do now is hideously wrong is just ignorant. I also don't think that the show's trying to say that this is exactly what high school is like today.
Majority of bullies are not the LGBT.
It's just taking the change in societal values since 1988 and exaggerating them, literally for comedy. And number two on this point, after watching the 10 episodes, I don't think that anyone could say that the Heathers are the main villains of the show and that JD and Veronica are victims.
I'm gonna be late for school.
I don't want to spoiler alert because I highly encourage you to go out and watch the show yourself, but let's just say that JD and Veronica are far from victims. Another criticism is obviously that it's just a pale comparison of the film.
Which I've just realized now in editing is a sentence that would hold a lot more weight if it made any kind of grammatical sense whatsoever. So hold up, I'm gonna try it again.
Another criticism is obviously that it
Pales in comparison to the film.
Let me make this clear. I am by no means saying that the TV show is as good as the movie. I am just saying that it's an enjoyable, fun spin on the characters we know and love in a new context.
It's Heather.
Does it say Heather on your birth certificate?
The fact that this remake or reboot has been made doesn't mean that the film never existed. They can both exist in their own right, and liking the show won't betray your love for the movie. Daniel Waters, Heather's creator himself, has come out and praised the show and said that he thinks that people will like it. I mean, he was wrong. People hate it, but it doesn't mean that they should. Being an intense Heathers fan myself, I enjoyed picking up on literally every specific reference in every scene. Obviously, you've got the colors that everyone wears, you've got new takes on the iconic lines, but everything down to props, scenery, music is all incredibly well researched, which I think is really clever and a fun little Easter egg hunt for mega fans. Also, no spoilers, but as the show goes on, it very much twists plot points. I don't think there is a point in making a remake if it's exactly the same as the original. This changes things up completely, and I really like that because I didn't know what was gonna happen next, and it was fun to watch and see how they were playing with things. My advice for Heather's fans who are hesitant to watch the new series or didn't like the pilot: A, keep watching. B, treat this as like an AU fanfiction. If you had a normal childhood and didn't read fanfiction, an AU fanfiction is something that's based on an original source material and set in an alternate universe. So it's just the original source you know and love. If it was set in 2018, if the Heathers were a part of the LGBTQIA+ community, if Veronica was slightly more unhinged than she lets on, and that's where I'm gonna leave that before I delve into major spoiler territory. The moral of all of this, I just don't think it should be taken that deeply or seriously. It's a fun remake made by people who are clearly fans of the show, and that's all there is to it. There are obviously a lot more insults from random different people that conflict with each other because nothing can make everyone happy, but they're just the main ones that I wanted to address. And the reasons why I liked it were that it was funny, it was cynical, it was dark, it did something completely different which I respect and enjoyed and was interesting to watch as a fan and viewer. And it's able to do all of that while poking fun at society, which is something I appreciated about the film and something I appreciate about this new show. And of course it's not only critiquing liberality. I think the show makes it very clear later on the dangers of archaic and conservative values. So ultimately what I'm saying is it is still a very left-wing show that not only wants to attack everyone else's political stance, but also wants to lovingly critique its own. And please do not make your final judgment based on the trailer or the pilot episode, because that very much does not give a clear indication of where the show is going. It takes some drastic twists and turns which are sure to have you shook, and I highly recommend you give it a go. Don't take it too seriously, and don't let your negative opinion be your final one before you've watched the entire thing. And that's all I have for you. If you respected and, dare I say it, agreed with my unpopular, controversial opinion, then please thumbs up and subscribe. And if you absolutely hated everything I had to say and think that I'm scum, then just do it anyway. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!
I'm a no-rest build-up man myself.
Jesus.